back to Elevate Your Standards. I'm your guys' host, as always, Derek Lauder. Appreciate you guys tuning in, being here for this video. I think it's episode 54, or however you guys are listening. Some of you guys might be listening only audio on our podcast platform. Some of you guys might be checking this out on YouTube. We're also on Facebook. Check us on Buzzsprout, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, really any podcast platform that's out there, guys. We're there. So I appreciate you. However you guys are finding this episode, consuming this content, whether it be video, audio, or whatever. Today's episode of Elevate Your Standards, we're going to focus on uncertainty and how you can move towards uncertainty, move towards risk, and move towards fear, how you can look fear in the eye and use that to continue to take steps forward. And we're also going to talk about how fear and uncertainty is actually an indicator of that you're on the right path and that you're doing the right things because you're taking risk and you're pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. So again, we're going to talk about how fear and uncertainty is an indicator of you pushing yourself out of your comfort zone, taking new risks, and we're going to talk about how you can implement different things in your life, different strategies you can take, different ways you can hold yourself accountable, kind of survey your life, see what's going on, so that when you run into these moments of fear, of uncertainty, you're able to run towards them. You're able to go into the fear, into the uncertainty, throw yourself over that ledge, throw yourself over that edge of risk that you've been wanting to take, and you'll see where you end up. And most likely that's the only way that you're ever going to make progress, because a lot of times all of us, when we're right on the verge of progress, when we're right on the edge, when we're just about to make a step that's huge in our development, that'll be very beneficial to us, it seems very stressful. It causes a lot of fear, a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty. And it's key and it's absolutely imperative that we learn to run towards that feeling of uncertainty, stress, and fear. So before we do get started, though, guys, I want to thank you for listening. I want to ask you to please subscribe to this podcast, like I said, however you are listening. And also, if you don't mind sending this to a friend or two, if we're adding some value in your life, if we're helping you grow as a person, maybe just kind of giving you some morning motivation a couple times a week. I know we put out more episodes than most people have the time to listen to, but we just want to give you guys a bunch of different short form episodes. So when you see a title you like, something that may relate to your life, you can click on it, listen, and get some value. So please send this to somebody else that may be able to get equal value from it as well. All right, guys, let's jump into it, though. So this whole thing about fear, uncertainty, running towards these feelings that people usually run away from is something that we have to rewire our brain from how society has taught us to think and taught us to live. Society has taught us that security is what we're after, security and safety. And it's security and safety comes from low stress. And that's really wired in our brains, right? This is literally wired in our brains from ancient times. Humans are after security and safety. And so that's what subconsciously we are trying to get. And in today's society, if you're able to get a nice salary, or maybe you're able to just have a job that you're comfortable with that pays the bills, and maybe you have a nice relationship with a couple friends and you don't ever need to push out your comfort zone, well, that is called security and safety, right? I mean, you're securing your job, you're able to pay your bills, you're safe, you're in a nice place, and so we get complacent, all right? Security and safety lets us get complacent. But when we start to take on big projects, like let's say that you're an entrepreneur and you're starting to take on a big project, or let's say that you are about to get a new job, or like I said, let's say you're an entrepreneur and you're about to start a brand new business or take on a new division of your company. Or maybe you just graduated college and you're looking to go get a job, and now you're about to take the leap from working at, restaurants or something like that to actually working in an industry. It's normal to feel uncertainty. It's normal to feel fear. Now, what you have to do is look that fear in the eye, look the uncertainty in the eye, and run towards it. You cannot run away from it. That uncertainty, that fear, it's not really anything but just a sign to your body that you're doing something you've never done before, that you're leaving safety and security behind for something that may be an even greater reward in the future. So how are you able to do that? How are you able to do it and push the fear aside? You don't push the fear aside. You run towards the fear. And I think a lot of people get that messed up. They try to get rid of anxiety. They try to get rid of fear. They try to get rid of the uncertainty that comes with these different scenarios, and it's not the right way to approach it. The correct way to approach it is to run towards it, to embrace it, to understand the only reason that I'm able to feel, or the only reason that I'm able to feel this fear, this anxiety, is because I put myself in a position to grow. I put myself out of my comfort zone. And that is extremely important, because as human beings, as students, as employees, as entrepreneurs, starting a business, starting a project, starting a new division of your company, it doesn't matter. We are always trying to get better, and it's always kind of the battle that we fight with ourselves, the battle that we fight with the world. You could say the great paradox that we also want security. We also want security. We want a stress-free life. We want comfort. We want to be able to know that what we're doing is the correct thing, and that we're able to go to bed at night knowing that we're not going to have to wake up in the morning wondering where our next meal is going to come from, or wondering where we're going to get the money to pay the rent. So it's the great human condition, the great human, catch 22. Yeah, you want security, but also it's wired in us to want to grow, to want to get better, to want to improve our situation. And so that's what causes a lot of these internal conflicts in people's minds. A lot of the impression anxiety, it comes from not being aligned completely from your soul to your actions to your mind, right? It comes from, yes, you want security, but also you know deep down inside that you should continue to be improving. You should continue to be looking fear in the eye, going to fearful situations, to stressful situations, taking them on, and then seeing how you feel when you go after them. Because all these, what we're talking about when it comes to these the waves of fear, of insecurity, of uncertainty that'll come when you're starting something new, when you feel like you're pushing outside of your comfort zone. Okay, those are not, if you're looking at it from a 3D perspective, those are not deep waves, right? They may seem impenetrable from one side of it, but they're not. You get through them very quickly onto another side where there's a long period of no fear and uncertainty before you hit another wave, because something else comes into your life, something else comes into your business, something else comes into your job. It's important to understand that we can't see beyond those walls. We can't see beyond these walls of fear and uncertainty. You never know which wall hides your goal, your achievement right behind it, that you're just willing to push through just one more time. If you're just willing to push through that one more wall, run to the fear, run to the uncertainty, you never know which one has your goal, your achievement, your destination right behind it. And you never know when you have 10 more walls to push through. And that's why it requires an incredible amount of faith to be able to work hard consistently and put yourself out there in a disciplined, manner, so that you're able to continue to do work that you don't always see results for right away. We talked about attacking the process in the last episode, and this goes right with it as well. It's hard to attack the process every single day and continue to push through these walls of fear and uncertainty if you don't know what's on the other side. It takes a lot of faith, guys. It takes a lot of faith in yourself. It takes a lot of faith in your vision. And more importantly, it really just takes the ability to look at fear, look at uncertainty, and go towards them instead of away from it. It takes courage, right? It takes a little bit of uncomfort. It takes pushing out of your comfort zone, because when it comes to life, guys, the comfort zone's about this big. The comfort zone is very small. And as you venture outside of it, that's where growth happens. There's a zone outside the comfort zone called the growth zone, right? And as you're venturing into that, you're going to find that a lot of people are judging you in different ways. They feel like, why is he not following the status quo? Why is he trying stuff that makes me uncomfortable? It's more of a projection of themselves. But once you venture out of that growth stage, you become a different person, okay? You become a person that doesn't see fear, uncertainty, and waves of uncomfortableness as something to avoid. You see it as opportunities to grow and opportunities to take advantage of stuff that most people will avoid. And that is really a key. That's almost a superpower if you think about it, right? I mean, if you're able to look at situations that other people are like, that's too hard, I'll avoid that. And you're able to say, forget it. I have enough confidence in myself. I have enough confidence in the destination that I'm looking to get to, that I know that I can achieve this, even if it takes me a week of learning something that I've never learned before, even if it takes me failing for 2 months before I'm successful. I know that if I run into these feelings that are pushing most people away, I'm going to be successful in the end. That's a hard concept to get, guys. I wouldn't even say it's a hard concept to get. It's a hard concept to follow, right? We know what we need to do. We know that we need to be looking at these things that are outside our comfort zone and pushing towards them at literally an incredible speed, or else we're never going to grow. We're never going to get outside of where we are now. But it's hard to execute because it's not fun. Again, there's a difference. There's a big, problem with self-help that's out there, and with motivation like this and all that, is that it's much easier to listen to than it is to put into practice. And a lot of people will listen to stuff and they'll be like, yes, that's so true, I'm going to do that. But then emotions come, and then the actual event happens, or the actual day comes where you have to put it into action. Your emotions get high and you're not able to control your emotions, run towards the fear and uncertainty, you run away, and then you restart back again. So when you're listening to this, guys, I know that it sounds great to run towards your fear and uncertainty, but you really need to start thinking about in life, start to be aware of when those feelings come, so that you're aware if you are running towards them, or if you're just continuing to run away, pushing them onto somebody else, taking the easy way out, which most likely most people are, because that's nice, that's comfortable, that's secure. But start to not chase secure, start to chase great, start to chase extraordinary, different, greatness. That is where achievement and fulfillment comes from in the end, not from just barely being secure enough to get by. So thank you guys for tuning in. Elevate Your Standards, episode 54, I believe. Like I said, you can check this out on all podcast platforms, of course. Follow me at Derek Lauder on all social medias, on Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, TikTok. New episode. This will be releasing on Monday. We'll have one Wednesday and Friday for you. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Whatever you're afraid of, whatever you feel like is bringing uncertainty in your life, look towards it and run to it today. Thanks, guys. Elevate Your Standards. Have a good week.